Universal does these deals with Spotify, where Spotify gives a huge discount.
Drake is also opening himself up to a discovery via UMG.
Universal, seeing how well it was doing, was like, hey, let's juice it. Let's pour gas on the fire. So we covered the Drake filing, and I have it. We'll take a look. It's not quite a lawsuit, okay, but he did file to conduct discovery in regards to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us song. And he's claiming that basically there was artificial inflating between the major label working in cahoots with Spotify. And you guys went wild in the comments on this. So we actually want to address some of the top comments, and that way I can make sure to A, incorporate you into what we do on the show more, but then B, answer your questions.
Universal has firmly denied any of the accusations that they did any of this, and there's just been a lot of speculation on what this is all going to expose. But I went through some of the comments on the YouTube video that we first did, and I'm just going to read some of the comments that you guys had left on it, because the issue is he couldn't have possibly have gotten all of those streams. They were doing all kinds of tactics to inflate the numbers. There's no way. I can't speak for no one but me and my husband. We watched the entire battle, waiting on every song to drop. We listened to Not Like Us more than I can count. No one had to send us the song.
Just for context, guys, so this is what was filed. So in New York, you can file this petition to ask for discovery. And so it goes into this whole diatribe of, this is Drake's company. It's Frozen Moments LLC. And he goes in and basically just, makes all these claims. He's like, hey, Universal does these deals with Spotify, where Spotify gives a huge discount. And so Universal just will spend essentially millions and millions of dollars to do these big bursts of marketing.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know it because I'm signed with Universal. So a part of like what we were speculating is we go, well, it sounds like he's basically spilling the tea on what Universal does and has done for him. And you were even reading something about that, right?
People were bringing up the fact that, back in the day, didn't Spotify have to refund people money because Drake and UMG kept forcing Drake's work all over the platform, even in paid accounts, to not receive ads. And that was for like the Scorpion record. It was just like everywhere. You could not escape Drake. If you never listened to Drake, you would still get forced on you. And I remember there was a time where I just feel like every time that I was opening up Spotify, I would get Drake. And no disrespect, but I don't listen to Drake. Spotify ended up having like some kind of opt-in where you could claim some money back because of the, and then they redirected their algorithm to not keep pushing Drake on everybody.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like, why would he know any of this unless they had done something like this for him? He didn't say this in what was filed, but he did talk some big numbers. And basically, we're like, all right, so is this just licking your wounds, right? And just trying to
Right.
justify while you as some people say, just miserably lost this rap battle.
A non-exploitable said Drake is also opening himself up to a discovery via UMG. If they go through all these things, they're going to see where Universal has, if they had paid to do any kind of boosting or any extra love for Drake. Another comment here, sounds like Drake has a bruised ego. This is somebody that brought up, because we're talking a lot about Spotify. The song had 20 million views on YouTube alone in one day. What is Drake talking about? Everybody on the internet was talking about the beef, Meet the Grams, etc. The night Not Like Us dropped. I remember everyone at X saying, it is not a test, Kendrick dropped again. Everyone went crazy. Dude, there was people in Japan and India blasting this song on their cars. That's a good point. And there was a few other comments of people saying that they didn't even listen to it on Spotify. It was just all over social media. Everybody was doing reaction videos on it. And those reaction videos were doing like, huge numbers. People were doing social media content, just dissecting the lyrics of it and what the connections of what everything meant. I would say that, definitely the hype helped add to all the streams, but I mean, beat was fire. You know what I mean?
Look, I don't know if anyone in our community has, said this, but couldn't both be true? Maybe
No,
it is
absolutely.
true that the
Absolutely.
song went insanely viral and it really did really, really well all by
Right.
itself. But then also Universal, seeing how well it was doing, was like, hey, let's juice it. Let's pour gas
Right.
on the fire.
Record labels are doing this for their artists at all different levels. I feel like Drake's saying it more because he's saying they're trying to like ruin me, and it's just like trying to take me down. And Drake is the number 2 artist for the year on Spotify, the number 1 rapper on Spotify. Drake is still holding that, and Drake is globally, he's the top rapper. I mean, as far as like numbers go. And then Kendrick Lamar is the number 1 on Apple. He is all over the Billboard Hot 100 with the top 5 spots from songs from his new album and then he has 2 other songs that are still within the top 10. So he has like 7 songs in the top 10 right now, Kendrick does. Another comment I had here was Drake is no different than someone who is a part of a drug operation, then gets caught and tells on everyone to save himself. I'm just getting so many comments of people just saying that it's just, for Drake to say that it wasn't as popular as it was is just kind of crazy.
If you guys haven't seen the full breakdown, go watch it. But the comments went pretty crazy.
There was a lot of comments about the whole defamation thing, and this wasn't a defamation suit. This whole thing has nothing to do with defamation. He's just claiming shady business practices on, I guess, his label. They're like his kind of distributor-y label, like his partnership label.
So, look, if you guys are late to the conversation, drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Any other ones?
I got Gusto in the comments talking about how he thinks this whole entire thing is manufactured.
I'll tell you what, for Universal, like
Listen,
both of their artists,
right,
it's
that's
good
what
for
I'm saying.
Universal for them to keep beefing.
There's I can't imagine Universal would do something to actively do something against Drake if he is bringing that much money in. But do I also think that these labels try to think of things? Sure. I just don't see what the benefit whatsoever would be to Drake to sign on to doing this. I think it was all kind of above the board. Do I think that the labels were inflating Kendrick's numbers the same way that they inflate Drake's numbers or anybody else that's on that label? Do they have little budget side? Yes, I do. I think that they, for promotions, I know that they have stock and percentages of Spotify. Yes, I do think that there's things that work out for these labels, that scales are tipped against the independent artist. Do I think that's true? Yes, I do. There was a lot of other comments that people were making about the fact that maybe this is Drake's way of trying to figure out a way to get out of his deal with Universal or something like that. Just trying to I guess he wants to maybe do things on his own. I really don't follow too much about Drake just in general, so I don't know the ins and outs of his labels. But I did see I do want to mention that was mentioned a few times in the comments, people talking about his label deal. So if you know more about that, I mean, let me know in the comments if it's interesting.
Let's go.